Morning, McCall. It's actually good evening, McCall. This is Damon Johnson, your host of Morning McCall, and I am at Bear Creek Lodge, and I have the distinct pleasure of introducing you to the Bruggemans. Did I get it pronounced right?
Pretty darn close, yeah.
All right. So it's Brett
Yeah.
and Spencer.
Yep.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be out here, even though it's late. It's about 9 o'clock. Brett, you just pulled in. You've won the 350-mile race. Is that right?
That's correct.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And Spencer, you left the other day,
Yep.
yesterday. We filmed you taking off. And you did the 150.
I did.
And you came in third place, so podium finish, right?
Yep.
Very nice.
Uh-huh.
So tell our audience a little bit about how you got started. And Brett, I'd love to hear the story. I hear that you grew up here in Idaho. Is that right?
I did. Yeah, I was born in Cleveland, and my dad's a dentist, like myself, but he came out to Idaho Falls to practice when I was 5 years old. So I grew up in Idaho Falls and spent a lot of time in southeast Idaho. And then I ended up in Montana. My dad and I used to do pack trips together up there, so that's why I settled in Montana.
That became home for Spencer, right?
Yep.
Okay. And you're headed off to Bozeman to go to college next year, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit about what got you guys into this race. I understand in talking to you at the finish line waiting for your dad that you've been doing this since you were 10 years old. That was seven years ago, right?
Yep.
So what got you guys into this sport?
Well, Spencer got us guys into this sport.
Yeah.
So, Spencer, you want to tell?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So I was born with a birth defect in my left leg that makes it about 2/3, 3/4 of the mass of my right leg and about an inch shorter. So that makes it take about double the effort per step to walk and run.
Okay.
So I can't do traditional sports at any advanced level.
Well, you're doing this one really well.
Yeah. Well, this isn't too traditional.
Yeah. But it's some hard hiking uphill,
Oh,
is that
definitely.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, dog sledding is all about endurance rather than speed. I can't run fast, but just with my leg, I've gotten used to having to work really hard to go the same distance. So I had this leg, and both
You still have it?
yeah, actually got it
I had this
replaced.
leg.
Yeah, and so both of my brothers are big football players, and I tried to play football in 5th and 6th grade, but I just could not keep up. And I was reading Jack London's Call to Wild, and I just thought it was so cool. And I was like, wow, I wish I could do that. That's so amazing.
Great inspiration.
Yeah, it is. It's a great book. That they're out in the wilderness with their dogs and just them in the woods and their dogs. And one day while I was driving home from school with my mom, I just perked up and said, we should start dog sledding. And she pulled the car over and stopped and said, you've been talking to your dad. And turns out he was reading the same kind of books and talking to her about it.
Very nice.
I'd asked her about a team I told her I wanted to have a dog team about a week before that. And she said, no way. She said we were at our pet limit. So, but then, we didn't know. Both of us were interested in the same time. So Suzette, my wife, decided it must be fate, and she gave us the thumbs up, and I think like 2 weeks later we had 10 dogs.
What a blessing. That's awesome. That's a great story.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the race. So maybe a hardship that you've had while you were out on the race. We may know yours, but I'm not sure the audience does.
A little thing.
But it could be something other than that too, right?
Other than that, the race was great, honestly. My dogs did amazing. So I took a wrong turn because
How far from the finish?
about 10 miles. So
10 miles.
Yep. So I was about around 38, 40 miles in, and there's this turn that forks off into two, and the sign before it is a right-hand turn because it's technically swinging to the right, but the trail that goes uphill to the left is the one you want to take.
Okay.
And it's got markers and stuff, but they're blocked by trees from the direction you're looking. So I took this bottom one, and my tracker wasn't working properly, so they did not realize I had taken this trail for about 10 or 15
And then they
miles
came
ish.
after you?
Yeah, and they sent over the cavalry, and by that time I had my team turned around, and I was about 10 miles
You had
up.
figured it out, okay.
And also this loop, it's called the F loop, was it's marked because it's actually
It's part of the race.
it's part of the race,
Yeah.
but
Sure.
for the 350.
Oh, I see. So you knew something was
Yeah.
up.
So there was
Okay.
markers on
Yeah.
there, and he thought so you'd think you were going on the right
yeah,
trail.
I was like, well, there's markers. Dogs have been here.
Well,
Yeah,
next
good
year,
to me.
you're gonna remember
Oh,
where that's
yeah.
at, right? Good.
Oh yeah,
And you'll be back next year.
I hope so.
Fantastic.
Yep. Depends
Brett?
if I can get off school.
That's right. Well, we'll have to talk to your professors about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brett, so obviously, smile on your face. You're a little
Yeah.
tired. All the dogs are asleep, right?
Yeah, they're back in their boxes.
We watch
They-
them eat and
they
get
love
into
their
their
little
boxes.
box.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
do.
that's their home.
Okay, so I know you're tired, and I want to get you back to
Oh, no,
to
it's
rest as well. But tell
Yeah.
me, some challenges that you had out on this course. You left on
That's right.
Wednesday. You took off
Yeah.
at about 11 a.m.
Yep.
And here it is, Friday at 9. You're back.
Yeah. The trail was great. They put a lot of effort into making a really good trail, and
Definitely.
the first couple of days were really good on the trail. It was a nice hard packed trail. In fact, it was probably too easy. It's just
It's a fast trail.
yeah. You can miss your turns because you kind of get monotonous and bored.
Yeah.
So
Right.
but yeah, they put a lot of effort into it. The volunteers, the checkpoints were great. They gave us food at every one.
Very
but
nice.
Yeah, the hospitality is amazing.
A lot of volunteers for this, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a
All the communities came out. Did
Yeah.
you hear what they're trying to do at Cascade?
what's that?
So the community across the lake is just mainly pilots and their families,
Uh-huh.
and they're trying to set up a checkpoint to compete with the Cascade
Oh,
checkpoint.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to
Good.
get a checkpoint.
Yeah.
But the trail was good, and everything went great with the dogs for the first most of the runs actually. I was really pleased with how they did, and then this last run, I had about a 60-mile run coming into the Y checkpoint, and I didn't give the dogs as much as I would have liked to because I didn't want the dogs to have to run in the heat of the day. So they did a long run, and then we got stuck in the heat of the day because it got warm and never cooled off in the
Yeah.
evening.
Right.
So this evening run was really difficult. There was some warm Chinook winds up top, and it turned the trail kind of mush, and so the dogs have a hard time getting a grip, and the sled doesn't slide. So we were equally working to get here, and
They're working harder, going
Yeah.
a little bit slower, which is probably a little frustrating.
well, no, I mean I understood, but it's if it gets too hard, sometimes they'll just say enough is enough.
Yeah.
So I was pretty worried
Happened to me last year.
Yeah, that's right. Just right up on here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm really glad that we got a chance to meet both of you. It's a great story. Although you weren't in the same race, it's fantastic that as a family you get to come out here and enjoy this race. So
We actually were in the same race just before this over in Oregon, and Spencer
Yep.
won that race, a 200-mile race. So,
and this was Eagle Cap, is that right?
Eagle Cap
Yep.
Extreme.
so
Well,
we've been
congratulations.
doing the tour.
And the next race coming up is
The race to the sky in Montana.
Race to the Sky in Montana. So you guys are kind of going back home.
Yep.
All right,
Couple
good.
days.
Yeah, it's in our backyard.
And for the viewers that want to follow you, how can they follow this next race? Do you know the site or?
Well, the best way to do it is gonna be my mom runs a Facebook page for a
Okay,
kennel.
we want to hear it.
It's called Skinny Leg Sled Dogs.
All right.
And
Yep.
so that's where most of the updates will be. She puts a ton of work into it and
Okay.
writes a lot of great stuff about the races. And then
Well, we'll definitely follow her, and we'll update our viewers as well.
awesome.
Excellent.
Great. Thanks, guys. I really
bet.
appreciate it.
Thanks for coming out.
Have a safe trip home.
We'll